On brand channel on which
Twitch.tv.
we experienced technical difficulties because, of course, but we're back now.
Yeah, so we fucking... The program had, like, crashed, but it didn't decide to actually crash until we clicked the OK button, which was my bad advice to do. But now we're back. And it takes fucking... like, when this program opens, you have to connect it to Twitch, and for some reason, the process of authorizing the Twitch stream takes, like, 2 whole minutes.
It's pretty nutty, not gonna lie.
Yeah. The audio is kind of iffy.
Is it? Like what, our voices? I think they're our voice. I'm gonna...
Games. I am...
Alright, well, hopefully that's not obnoxious.
Audio changed. Got quieter. Blah blah. Voices are only left ear.
Oh, I gotta recheck the, down mix. That should be fixed momentarily.
Hello. I am Become Games. Destroyer of lames.
Oh, I'm wanted again.
Yeah, it's all good now. The universe wants my suicidal soul. That's what somebody says. Just an other. No, just an otter. It's games! There's a lot of clipping on the mic audio. That's because I'm yelling into it.
Also might just be too loud.
So how are you feeling about this game now that you've just been doing whatever the hell you want?
Much more enjoyable, but I feel like I'm just delaying the inevitable right now. Like I'm doing fun things that are, it's inevitably going to, it's not like life, you know, you're just delaying your inevitable death.
Well, you did do that one story quest, right?
Yeah, that was kind of okay.
So maybe there's some that aren't so bad. And
Well, the problem right now is that they were saying that by doing what I'm doing, we're never going to play the best parts of the game. So I almost feel
no,
like...
they were saying that you can't get into the best bars.
I thought they said you couldn't do the crossing the border thing.
Well, I think you have to get, like, real notorious for that, you know?
I'm on my way.
Like, I'm thinking that there's a way you can recover from all this. Like, maybe you can just turn yourself in and spend some nights in jail or something. And, like, recover your reputation.
Never. My dick is way too big for that kind of pussy boy shit.
Have you ever listened to the early 2000s post-hardcore band Cursive? No, but you've piqued my curiosity with that string of adjectives.
Are you saying that word wrong on purpose, like all the other words you say wrong on purpose?
What are you talking about?
It's piqued. Have you piqued my
You
interest?
motherfucker. I've said piqued my interest like... No, wait, you're right. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
I've been saying piked excessively and people have been calling me out on it all
Correct.
the time.
Yeah.
For some reason I was thinking that I had done the opposite. But no.
No. It is piqued my interest.
Yes, I think piked sounds better. Because peaked is already a word for something else.
I mean, that hasn't stopped English before. Pike is also a word as well. It's like something you stick in the
Yeah, but
ground.
you don't say I piked that guy with that pike.
I mean, that sounds brutal as fuck. Like, if I get a shotgun, I'm gonna do a fucking pipe
Well,
that
I
guy.
feel like if you were
I'm gonna say it just to piss you off
what
now.
makes more sense? To say that your interest was piqued or that your interest was piked?
I think your interest is piqued because it's slowly, they're like peeking up from, oh, what's that?
That's not spelled that way.
No, it's not,
P-E-A,
but it's
like
phonetically, it works.
it should just be piked. Why wouldn't that be a word? It's spelled like that.
You guys are shooting him. I can call him bullshit on whatever.
I can't understand in any way that a word spelled that way would be pronounced peaked.
I mean, welcome to English. Alright, I don't know why my bounty went up for that. I thought I was saving that guy. Alright, I did something. I guess he was a bad guy.
Oret says, that reminds me of Kingdom Come's karma system, which is simultaneously the most fucking retarded and genius thing ever. The more crimes you commit, the more literal real time you have to sit out in jail if you get caught. That's nuts. But it definitely would make you fucking incentivized to not... That's the thing, like, with these games, the karma systems, I never feel like there's any, like, actual pressure incentive to not do things wrong. Like, sure, you miss out on, like, certain stuff, but you also get to do certain stuff. So it's, like, usually it's a pretty fair trade. Like, if a game really didn't want you to do something, there should actually be a punishment that you would not want. How do you feel about the performance of in response to your Shinsekai vid? It's pretty much been exactly what I would have expected so far. Like, the view count's healthy. It's got... I don't know what it has right now, but I'm gonna go find out. Like, anybody who doesn't like Shinsekai Yori is like, wow, finally someone said it. And anyone who really loves the show is like, you're a fucking moron who completely missed the point. But I've yet to see an argument against my video that I felt was, like, that actually invalidated it in any way. Like,
I keep ending up in, like, the same 3 places.
A lot of people's perspective on what they think is a valid defense, I disagree with. It has 83k views in a day. That's pretty good. As long as it, you know, continues to grow, I will be satisfied. Honestly, I wrote the video a month ago, so I feel not that much emotional attachment to it.
Thanks to Vu.
He did it. I mean, his editing is funny. It's kind of chaotic because it is obviously, like, rushed, but you know, it's not so much so as to be, like, bad.
Search the area with the dog for any disturbances.
Like
see, why would I want to follow a dog?
Like, you got to realize that the Shinsekai Yori video, from my perspective, is I watched this incredibly terrible show that was suffering and I hated it, and then I jammed out a script about it in about 6 hours, threw that off to Devu, and didn't see it back for a month. Comparatively, how they marketed Be the Beginning was like a script that underwent like 10 revisions, and I slaved over it and recorrected course on it and had all these big plans. Then, like, Devu sent me the finished edit of his version, and then I chopped like 6 minutes off of it, had to make all these ads. Like, that is a video that I actually put a lot of effort into, and that, like, from my perspective, like, I feel a lot of ways towards it. And, like, the fact that it even has as many views as it does was almost a surprise to me, because I really thought I just fucked up and nobody was going to care at all. But thankfully people enjoy it. But, like, the level of, like, thought and care put into that is a lot higher than that of the Shinsekai Yori video.
I like the artwork in that show, just from looking at it.
Oh, dude, the art is fucking phenomenal in Be the Beginning, but the show is dumb and shit. You should definitely, just for the animation alone, it's worth watching the first, like, 4 episodes. Like, because at that point, it's mostly just kind of like a cop thriller, so, like, it's not as though missing out on the rest of the plot would horribly kill your boner or anything. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you'd probably make it to, like, you'd probably go, wow, this is pretty cool, maybe I'll try a little more, and then you get to episode 6, you're like, I don't care anymore, you know?
I mean, I almost commented on the video that all this made me want to do is watch Psycho-Pass again.
Yeah, I would say it's visually even superior to Psycho-Pass. Like, Psycho-Pass doesn't have as much dynamic shot composition as Be the Beginning does. Be the Beginning is like every image looks good. Every image is interesting, has something going on. Like, it's
Subdue the horse thief.
But, like, that stops being true after the first 4 episodes or so.
Subdued.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Go to the foreman's office and collect your reward. You've discovered the Bullard twins outfit. This will allow you to be treated like one of them in their gang at their hideout. That's cool, I guess. Let me jump.
Serp the Terp says, I know the video is long enough, but my suggestion for controversial opinion videos is to try to put yourself in the shoes of people who like the show and try to figure out what they value that you don't. The funny thing about the Shinsekai Yori video is that the angle I approached it with was trying to basically address what the I can't understand what people who like the show like about it. Like, I can't put myself in those people's shoes because it seems like you have to be stupid. That's the only approach I could take to it, was that, like, to me the show is completely worthless. Like, whatever it sets out to try to say, it says wrong. And that's what I was trying to say. Like, the reason the video starts off with me talking about plot so much is that I wanted it to be that people who really like the show will come in and immediately have to be confronted with the idea that the plot and themes, which are what everyone says are the good thing about the show, are not correct. That, like, its attempt to say what it's trying to say, it does not say it well. And ultimately, people just disagree with me about what the show is trying to say. But the most of the arguments I've seen against it are people saying that, like, what I claim the text to mean is not necessarily present in the text, but what they substitute it with is something which is also not present in the text. So, like, the way I wrote the video is I was attempting to justify it on its own terms. Like, I was trying to make sense of what the show seems to be trying to say, and then say, but, like, they fucked up. And then other people are like, no, that's not what the show is trying to say, but then what they think it was trying to say is something they made up, or, like, based in conjecture. So it's like, okay, whose conjecture is right and whose conjecture is wrong? At the end of the day, if the only way to make sense of the show is conjecture, then it's a problem with the show. And maybe that would have been a better angle to come at the video with, is to say that. But, like, I didn't know what the defense of the show would be, because I didn't realize that people who liked the show liked it based on conjecture. Now, granted, that's just the defenses that I've seen. It's possible that there's more to it than that, but, like, particularly that guy who keeps telling me that my video's wrong and, like, hammering on about his fucking counterpoint video, like, I told him right off the bat, dude, we just see the show differently. Like, he seems to think I am objectively wrong, but he has provided me no evidence that would convince me such. The only argument I've seen that I can concede to is that it would not make sense for people to carry around anthrax, because anthrax is, like, I guess, a disease. Like, once you've been infected with it, it spreads, and so it would be dangerous to have around. Though I kind of presented that like a joke in the first place, I thought, but whatever. Oh, his his laptop's battery is low. Tom is in the bathroom. Frank's video when, so I can watch it before you release your vid? In 5 days. It's not the worst show in the whole world, so it won't be like... I'm not going to tear it a new one, if that's what anyone's worried about. I mean, I guess, depending on your perspective, I am, but, like... The thing about Frank's is that I watched it right after Shinsekai Yori, and it is so much better than Shinsekai Yori that I was, like, not really that upset over it. What do I think of Maddox refiling against the Serios? I mean, the same way I feel about every decision Maddox has made in the last 2 years. He's a fucking asshole, and he doesn't know when to stop. At this point, it's just depressing to think that this man is going to continue running his and all of his former friends' careers into the ground for no apparent reason. What's all this stuff about meditation? What's going on? Would I ever consider adding free downloads for my albums as a Patreon perk? A lot of my albums are free already. But no. In fact, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Because I really want my Patreon to not account for my music at all. Like, the way I'm going to structure my Patreon from now on is that it is strictly for the YouTube channels. It is for Digibro and Digibro After Dark, nothing else. Because structuring it in such a way that my Patreon just pays for all Digibro content makes it so that none of that content can actually profit on its own merits, and just is stunting the growth of everything I do in general. I'll explain it more later once we get deeper into Patreon month. What happened to Digibro versus Everybody? It's I Am Games now. This is the new live stream show. Digibro versus Everybody died because I didn't like doing it. Am I going to make another video on Digibro's turntable? No, probably not. I'm just going to, if I make music videos, post them on After Dark from now on. And I'm considering mass re-uploading the turntable videos to After Dark. But honestly, I might just do the ones that are my songs, or the ones that have like editing put into them and like effort. But Patreon month is September, dude. We are officially in Patreon month. I haven't explained it at all yet, so don't worry. You're not behind. God damn, Tom, you take the longest pisses out of anybody I've ever fucking seen in my life.
That was a shit.
Oh, you took a shit?
Yeah.
You took a whole shit on stream?
Sorry.
This motherfucker shit on stream. Are you coming back?
I
You
could have
coming-
shit on stream if you wanted to. Could have brought the camera with me. Like, all right, guys.
Our camera's not live anymore. Yeah, we probably could put the camera back on now that we're.
Do we really want to
started
fuck with
recording.
something that's working? Do we really want
No,
to mess with
we
fate?
really don't.
That's what I thought. All right, I got a bounty. I'm gonna go after this.
Was my goal to change the minds of Shinsekai Yori fans with the video? Somewhat, and I did with some. There are people who've told me they lowered their score based on my video. I think I probably would have been able to do a better job of that if I had known what Shinsekai Yori fans think of the show, because I was reading reviews online and none of them were like, had any depth at all. Like, every review I could find of the show is just like, it's got really good themes and Squealer's a good character and the last 8 episodes are super fucking dope, man. And like, I never saw somebody put up like an actual,
I reviewed this show.
like, analytical take on it. Like, I really scoured I even posted on Twitter, like, can anybody link me like positive analytical writing about this show, and nobody found me shit. So I was just like, all right, I'll just go in guns blazing and do my take. So, you know, it's not like I didn't try. Who's my favorite Higurashi character? Rika, because I have dreams about her for some reason.
Got him.
Motherfucker had a baked loaf. That's you. You had a baked loaf.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about that.
Ask Tom what kinds of games he wants to be able to make.
Stylish action games like Devil May Cry. That is the long-term goal.
Have you even like considered like planning to make any further games after the one that you're making? Like
right now?
Yeah.
Like,
do you have other game ideas, or is it just about the Izumi games?
I mean, the Izumi game I'm making right now isn't the Izumi game I want to make. This is
You're making like a 2D platformer game to learn how to program, then to make a 3D stylish game, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's heavily planned out, but I know what I want it to be, and I know what the story is, and I know what the game.
I wasn't sure that I didn't realize that you were actually going to make like a complete 2D platformer game. I thought you were just doing it like.
I don't know
as
if
a
it's
test.
going to be a complete. I mean, I'm gonna make like 1 or 2 levels. I might expand it into a full game at some point, but I don't really know. I haven't really thought that far into it yet. It depends on how much I enjoy that process. I mean, ideally, what I would like to do, honestly, is I would like to do a bunch of like short little animation things, build the Izumi character as a brand while working on this 2D game, and hopefully it gets some traction. And then I'd like to work with 1 or 2 other people to make a 3D game, so I can offload a lot of the work.
Yeah.
and like get somebody to do like sound design so I can have a sick soundtrack, and I can focus mostly on
Dude,
like
I can help you with sound
concepts.
design, dude.
I mean, I'm down. Fuck it.
I fucking so one of the I'm working on like 1,000 fucking random background passion projects, none of which I have any idea what they will eventuate into. But there's one light novel that I had started writing during the August shit. I told you about it.
Yeah.
And I decided that I wanted to do a soundtrack for it. This fucking laptop just died.
The charger should be right over there.
Is that it plugged in? No, that's the computer plugged in.
The charger should be right near there. Mark's on it. My honor's going up and down at the same. Wait, my honor's like way up now. My honor was super down before. Huh.
Before it completely shuts out.
Wonder if your honor resets when you die.
Anyway, I decided to do a soundtrack for my light novel.
Whoa.
And I created the OP.
Oh god, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. This was a mistake!
It's like a visual novel style OP. And,
Oh.
damn, you got fucking gatted up!
Dude, there was a lot of niggas there. That's all I'm saying. There's like 4 guys on horseback.
Alright, sick. It didn't close the page.
I didn't have any bullet time. My plan was to use bullet time and take them all out. And I fired a shot without it. And I'm like, oh no, this ain't gonna work. Change outfits. Let's do it. Let's get fancy. It says I got an outfit, I thought.
Yato, don't apologize for having to lower your pledge for personal life reasons. That is the main reason people lower pledges, and it's totally understandable, especially if you're unemployed, like, you know. I don't need the money as much as you do, obviously. Like, the fact I can afford to be doing something like a 2 a.m. live stream means that I'm in pretty fucking fair graces. Like, you know, like, it's easy for me to like dramatize, like, okay, everyone is after like a certain comfort level, right? And like, because I make my money online from fan donations, like I have to tell people like whether or not I'm making enough to be comfortable, because like this is like the hardest thing about Patreon, and it's why I was really glad when they introduced a feature that lets you hide how much you make. I don't do it because I like people to have all this extra data. Nowadays, if people say like, how do you need so much money? I'm like, I fucking am feeding multiple people. Like, it's not all going to me, you know? Like, I've got a fiance, I've got, who I also pay as an assistant. I've got Devu, who I pay as an editor, and like, I'm paying out his whole fucking rent, you know? So like,
It's pretty wild.
so it's basically like 3 people relying on my income on Patreon. But like,
Are there any tax benefits for having employees? There has to be.
there should be, but I don't, like, I'm just paying them as contractors. I mean, I do write off all the contract work I pay on my taxes, but at the level that we're at, I should have be giving them 1099s, but like, or at least Devu should be getting 1099s because he's making more than 10 grand now. So
Holy balls, man.
yeah, more so. Well, first of all, you definitely deserve whatever you get this month because you fucking gave me the Crunchyroll video, and that shit has made like it's made at least $1,000 for me on ad revenue alone. So
It's pretty wild.
that's what happens when you have a fucking million views video.
I wouldn't know.
You never had what's the biggest view count you ever had?
I think like 200,000 is where I topped out at.
Damn. I think Jesse still has the biggest video any of us have ever had. Yeah,
the
fucking
Bats review. For
Horseshoe
some reason.
Review Bats has like almost
All of our
500
Bats
views.
videos are abnormally large.
Yeah, but his is like,
Stupidly abnormally
his
large.
is crazy. And if you count all the freebooting, fuck updates would also probably be up there.
Yeah. The fact that they got the fucking logo and everything is just disgusting.
And I've got 3.1 mil on How to Recognize a Terrible Anime. That's my biggest by far.
I'm hoping
Nate's got
someday
over 1
this
million
game
on
shit will
Galco.
work for me. Dude, that Galco video was like big for a while. It was
Yeah.
all over Tumblr.
Weaponized thickness for the forces of good. The irony of him being like,
Right.
of Nate,
I know.
being famous for a body positive message, which is not even intended as one.
No, not at all.
That's so fucking funny.
Leave it to Tumblr to not understand shit.
Yeah.
Whoa, someone's abusing a woman. This is my kind of game.
Jesus. But anyway, what I was trying to explain is that, like,
God, that can probably get us kicked
Like-
off Twitch.
regardless of me having, you know, people to take care of, or regardless of me, like, wanting an amount that I am comfortable with, it doesn't mean that I need that amount.
Right.
Like, there are people who need money. I do not need money. So if you need money, do not give me money, you know?
Right, right.
Unless it really, really gives you something in your soul that you require, you know?
I'm having a beer, I guess. I feel like $2 for a beer is a lot in this economy. That sounds like $2 for a beer is like close to modern day beer price.
Unstable Hedonist says, watch early extra credits vids to help with game design. I think the thing is that extra credits is more about game design theory, and Tom is more in like the learning how to even code at stage at the moment. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot.
and I feel like you have a pretty clear vision of like the theory behind what the game is going to
I actually watched those extra credit videos too.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, I watched them all back in the day. I was like,
There was an amazing video that MDOT recommended I watch, and it was great, by the guy who did Nuclear Throne, explaining how to make a mediocre game great. And that he's like the coolest guy ever. Just bigger explosions, more explosions.
Yeah.
Bigger shit.
That's the Nuclear Throne theory, pretty much, you know. That's what
Camera
makes the
shake.
game
Just
fun.
add cam. There's nothing is bad from camera shake. Just more camera shake all the time. Like, I like this guy. He's cool. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of shit. I know what I want the game to be. It's just like learning how to actually make the game that. And also I want to do animations and stuff, and that's a whole other beast. I keep like wanting to say like, Digi, I just need to like take you out to like dinner or something, and I just want to like lay everything out and be like, teach me how to not be obscure. Teach me how to have money again. I don't know how to do it on my own.
It's all about riding the wave, like I talked about in that video.
Yeah, but like nothing I do is about riding waves.
I think, well, okay, here's the second thing. Here's what I don't talk about in the video, which is that if there's not a wave that you want to ride, you have to make the wave.
Right.
I think you already have a wave in Izumi. Like, it's a baby wave right now, but she is a character people like.
I know, and that's
And
weird. and
I
wanna
think that
capitalize
your
on that.
animations for the 2D game are really fucking solid, and like that alone could be enough. Like, release some like sprite sets of her just doing shit, like, you know. I think if you just made like enough assets of her and just like made little narrative miniatures, you know, like short comics or short animations, like, and the great thing about her is that you work in multiple mediums, and she's just a character design who can be translated into any of them. So like, you can basically make any piece of art featuring this character, and all of it can contribute to this greater whole of her existence. So like, I basically think it's a matter of like, try your hand at putting this character in every feasible style and scenario and see if one of them blows up in some specific weird niche, you know?
Yeah, the problem is a lot of it just takes a lot of time. Like, I'd like to be able to just bust these out, but like, making an animation takes a good fucking while.
Well, you gotta figure out how to do it as cheaply and easily as possible, basically.
Yeah.
Like, when you approach a story for the character, don't think, what story do I want to tell? Think, what story can I tell in 24 hours? Because that's, like, with my video a day for a month, none of them, like, the basis of every video was, what can I do in 3 hours? Like, what is a script I can write and edit in 3 hours, and it won't be too difficult? Like, the only videos that were not planned that way were like the No Game No Life one and the other longer ones that I was planning to do but didn't end up getting around to doing, where it was like, I know I have to watch the entire show, I know I have to like study it and say something reasonable, but like, if the question is what can I write in 3 hours, well, I could do an episodic analysis. Like, I could watch an episode of a show, write something about it that's about 6 minutes long, and it'll only take about 45 minutes to edit. And so, like, that is the premise, you know, more so than actually having an idea. And then it's like, let's look for an episode we can talk about that will fit this parameter. So, like, if you were to say, all right, I can draw a 4-coma comic in a day, like, what is a joke that fits the format of a 4-panel comic I could draw in a day, you know? And, like, if you just think of everything that way, I think that would be a way to more easily mass-produce content with the character. And then you can also multi-layer that, where you can say, like, let's say I want to have a web comic that posts twice a week. So I make comics that I know I can do in 6 hours. So I'll spend Monday creating the 2 comics, schedule those ahead of time, then spend the rest of the week making the full 3D animation that comes out on Saturday. And now you've got a, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then people will look forward to, oh, I get the 2 regulars and then the super comic, you know, and like that's the weekly format kind of thing.
Right.
Stuff like that. That's how I would approach it anyways. If I was trying to make a character popular, it's just, you know, and then any random weird little ideas you get that you're just passionate about, drop everything and follow that one, because the passion will get it done a lot faster than the strategy, you know.
Watch your step.
I hope that helped. I feel like that was some of the sagest wisdom I've dropped all fucking week. How do I feel about Game Maker's Toolkit? I've watched some of it, but like it just... Okay, here's what killed analysis videos for me, is that, and this is also what killed my own desire to even make them for the most part, aside, which is why my style is now like just whatever, basically, is that, to me, I would basically categorize analysis videos into 2 different styles. There's broad topic discussion, where you're just saying something that applies to basically everything, and then there's like specific instance analysis, which is where you're talking about something that doesn't occur commonly and is only in this one thing. So like every frame of painting, all of their videos were broad topic, and that's why they eventually just closed shop, because they covered all the broad topics they were interested in. But there's another style, which is like where you establish the broad topic, and then you just keep taking every single piece of media ever and applying that logic to it. And Nerdwriter was the one who really popularized this, where Nerdwriter can make videos forever because all he does is just find a piece of media and then talk about what that thing does, and it doesn't matter if 6 different things did the same fucking thing, you know, like he'll just say that same thing about it 6 times. So like Game Maker's Toolkit, like, you know, might talk about why a Zelda dungeon works 80 times, and like most of it's the same. Like they work for the same reasons on a basic core principle level, you know? And so I feel like most analysts, when they get into it, they get into it to share their big, broad concept ideas, and then they just kind of have to now apply it to everything. And I hate that, which is why I always tried to seek out like just the most unique thing I have to say about something. But unfortunately, that leads to making nothing but 2.5-minute videos, and people on YouTube don't watch that. So rather than, you know, this is why like I'm trying to change my paradigm so that every video is just completely different. Like I just want it to always be that the approach is like, you know, find out what people are talking about, and then just find out what approach I can take to making a video about that. Not an analysis video per se, like it will be analytical because that's what I do, but like it's just like, what's my take here, you know? Like my video on Darling in the Franxx that's gonna come out in 5 days is called Darling in the Franxx is Gynax for Babies. And my take is just basically, hey, like this show is just literally any Gynax show except for if you happen to be 12, you know, and like wouldn't get it otherwise. So I just thought of a money-making scheme. Make shirts that say "fuck Digibro" and find someone who doesn't like you publicly and sell them through him and make money off your haters, like maybe Mother's Basement. I don't want to do that because that would create a culture of hate, and I don't want that. This is a mistake that Primus made. You ever heard of Primus?
No.
Primus was a huge like one of those. What's the word for something that's niche but has a huge niche? Cult classic. They were like a big cult band in the 90s, and they had T-shirts that said "Primus sucks," and like somehow it came to be that like people would always just like nag and bully them and like throw shit on stage and just like their audience were total cunts because like they thought that was being in on the joke. Was like, oh, Primus sucks, so like let's display that Primus sucks, haha. This is funny, and they were like, this is the worst, like we fucked up, you know.
Right.
They stopped touring because it was just like they got treated like shit everywhere. So yeah, you don't ever want to create a culture of like my fans hate me because they will then display that. Exactly what happened to Monkey Jones. That's why he gets nothing but troll shit in the mail because like that's what he endorses, you know. He literally reads his worst comments in his videos. Like,
it's when you mention it,
you're
the
asking
first example I thought of.
Yeah. One thing on the horizon is using game engines as platforms to render 3D animation. Unity has really started pushing that stuff recently.
The Big Hero 6 animation is done entirely in Unity.
Whoa.
Which is crazy because that means it's all in real time, so there's no like painfully ass-long renders for that show anymore. It's done in real time.
Wait,
the
there's a Big Hero 6 show?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I see.
Because of course it is. I'm not killing people right now. I should be, but I'm not.
Was Digi out for like 20 minutes till now? Ha. What do you mean? Do you mean Tom? You're asking if Tom was out? Because I was the one talking for the last 20 minutes.
The fucking audio just stopped working for 20 minutes. I mean, I wouldn't put it past our slapdash setup. Alright, waterfall. Cool. Ugh.
But yeah, I do have a bunch of, one of my plans going forward is that I want to start making limited run physical media that I sell myself because, like, I think people value buying things directly from the buyer, and it allows me the opportunity to, like, send, like, interesting stuff along with it. I don't know how tenable it is, though, because, like, I don't want to clog up all my time, like, making shit, but I'm definitely going to try some, you know, like, a few limited run batches of things.
You just got to keep the scale small.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what you should do, especially since you have a lot of clout, scale small, price high.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And, like, I think I've made... The mistake I've been making till now is that I try to simultaneously grow my audience and engage my deeper audience, but while all in the same way. Like, it was all just tied through Patreon. And that's because I didn't want to make things complicated. Like, I hate having to think about shit. I just wanted it to be simple.
Says the man who's done analysis videos for his entire life. I hate thinking about shit.
I hate thinking about shit that I have to do.
I hate thinking about shit that isn't anime.
I'm just lazy as fuck, is the bottom line. Well, it's that, like, I constantly am getting mired in this feeling of, like, I need to complete things all the time. Like, I can't stand to, like, have to do upkeep and maintenance and, like, stuff that is, like, repeating, you know? It's like I always want to be doing a new thing and completing it. And so, like, when I have to think about something that I'm going to set up as, like, a recurring thing, it's always just like, oh, God, what if I suddenly have a throw of passion and I want to do something else? Then I'll have to take time away from that to do the repeating thing, you know? But, like, I've managed to do pub crawl pretty consistently. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Relatively consistently for, like, 5 years. And sometimes I'm on PCP for, like, 3 weeks in a row. But,
okay, it's more money for me when you're not on there, so...
Yeah, I need to get on tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's the show.
Tomorrow's
make
the
sure
show.
I wake up on time.
Wow.
It's already 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
so.
we're making that harder on ourselves right now.
Well, we should probably wrap this up soon.
I agree. I'm doing a whole lot of nothing right now. This is the part of open world games I hate the most. It's just like, where do I go? What do I do?
You could go to the end.
Alright, I'm in
Oh,
Thieves
you found a
Landing.
Cool. You found a whole place.
Why do I have a knife out? That
This
is-
town seemingly just sprung out of fucking nowhere. Like you're just running along and then you were just in a place. That was a trip.
Well, it's just Thieves Landing, so let's land some thieves.
You should probably hitch your horse here in Thieves Landing. You don't want nobody running off with that bitch.
Well, apparently I can just whistle and it comes to me magically. Apparently that's a thing that happens now. I don't fucking know. Open gate. Sure. Let's do it. Let's open the gate. I've opened the gate. I don't know why I needed a cutscene for that, but nobody's mad that I'm just invading this place yet.
Good old boss. How you doing, bud?
I can open that gate too.
Alright, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose my mental fortitude.
Alright, I'm down to be done if you want to be done.
I'm down to be done.
Alright, well, thanks everybody for
I think
watching
this
this
was like over 3 hours.
clusterfuck of a stream.
I thought this was like our most organized stream yet.
Well, we
It didn't go down 8 times like the last one did.
That's true, I'll give you that. Hopefully at some point we get those power line adapters working and not have to worry about that anymore. I don't know how to save though. I don't know where to go. How do I...
Dave Will, that's a fucking genius idea. Dave said, I think you should put a logo or sign about what you're talking about on the computer because it'll reflect in your glasses. So over a long enough video, people will notice. I definitely should put some like coded symbols in my like glasses reflection.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you for that one. I'm definitely gonna use that. I am and will forever be games.
Good man. That's all we can ask.
Alright, let's fucking wrap this up, dude. Hit that fucking end button, dog.
Alright.
Hit that
Goodbye,
fucking
you
switch.
fucking fucks.
Fuck.